You are greatly welcome to Future Setters Institute's Youth Development Show, episode 36. A wonderful session, and trust me, it's going to be filled with a lot of practical things and impactful moments. You are going to be exposed to a lot of great things. You're going to be exposed to strategies you can use to thrive, and you are going to be making a huge difference after this program. Today's program is tagged How to Build Influence. Today's program is tagged How to Build Influence. So today's program is tagged How to Build Influence. And how do we build influence? We build influence by several ways, by several strategies, by several tips, and by several things, which you will be exposed to today. So do well to stay with us while we share a lot of great things for you. So for those who are coming here for the first time, we have been having a youth development show or youth development show since February this year. And we are at the 36th episode. We have been introducing a lot of international from all over the world to share their story, to impact you, and to make a huge difference. So today's episode, once more, is on how to build influence. So you'll be wondering, what's influence? How does influence, or what's special about influence? How can I be influential? Some of us may be in a particular environment, but one core thing is we are not seen, we are not recognized. We are just like the floor members in that place. Whereas we are supposed to be people of ideas. You may have great ideas, you may have great insights, you may have a lot of wonderful things to share, but the leader does not even give you that room to share that knowledge. So these are things that we also need to look into. What can I do to really push myself out, to really use my gifts well? What are those things? What are those things that I'll be doing? So we have a very great man here in the person of Abhijit Jakta from Wisdom Seed. Is the founder of Wisdom Seed, a very great company, a very great place where young minds are impacted. And he's also a corporate trainer. He's going to definitely introduce himself to each and every one of us and do well to listen to him while he shares his wealth of experience with us. Once more, you are greatly welcome, Abhijit Jakta, and feel free to let us know about you. We'd love to know about you and what you do.
Victor, and I would like to appreciate everyone who has joined this particular call because I know this particular time on Sunday, people might choose to stay with their family or go back and enjoy themselves, but join this particular session for future development. That is a greater initiative that you guys are taking. So first of all, I want to congratulate everyone who have joined us, and I want to be thankful to Future Setter Victor for giving this particular opportunity to give my set of experience and share thoughts about what is the science and the tools about influence. And as far as my company is concerned, as Victor rightly said, I am in the field of mental wellness. I work with corporate extensively in establishing mental wellness, try to irrigate and handle and tackle burnout issues when it comes to workplace environment, and making a place a fair place wherein young minds, productive minds can become more efficient. So that is the entire what I can say, the domain and the scope of my company. So thank you so much, Vector, again for inviting me for this talk.
You are greatly welcome. You are greatly welcome, Abhijit Jakta, founder of Wisdom Seed. Great to have you here. I think also in our midst we have Rosemary Neble. I don't know if you are there, Rosemary Neble. Are you there? Rosemary Neble, are you there? Okay, it seems Rosemary has some network issues. So since she's not there, anytime she joins us, we'll proceed. We'll proceed with her. We'll continue with her. So we'll go straight to the topic of today. The topic of today is how to build influence. How to build influence. So we'll start from the first question. The first question we have here is, how do you define influence in your own term? So we'd love to know from you, AJ. How do you define influence in your own words? And practically, how have you been able to build influence in your company too?
Surely, surely. So that is something that we have to start with understanding what is influence first, because most of us would be struggling with, having that particular kind of a lock in our mind that influence means being popular. Influence means being able to draw up a lot of followers. That is what would be most of the Gen Zs, most of the alphas would be into that particular part. That yes, if I have 1 million follower or 10 million followers, then I'm an influencer. But influence is totally different. Influence is not should be gauged by the number of followers, but I feel that influence is more of an energy transfer through trust. So energy transfer through trust. So how trust you are making. So it's about impact. It is about a quiet power that make people rethink, response, and rise above, even when you are not in the room. So if I want to talk about this as a very, fundamentally, it is like a fragrance of a flower. you know it stays even if you have left the room. People do recall you as a personality rather than the title. So that is where I see the definition of influence. And it begins when people trust your intention and believe in your credibility. So influence is not about how you look, how you talk. It is more about how your intention and how people believe in your credibility. So that is more important. And I think the mindset that is there, that all of our listeners supposed to inculcate, is like, rather than how I can get more followers, it would be more appropriate to ask ourselves that how I can add more value to those followers. Right? So it is more about creating value rather than creating attention. So that is one thing that is about the practical mindset that you can have. And if you talk about the tool, Victor, and whoever is listening to this particular thing, I would suggest everybody who want to start defining influence, start taking daily value journals. Start writing those value journals. So each evening when you are like done with your day, so you have to just question yourself back that how did I add value to someone today? It can be emotionally, it can be intellectually, or it can be practically. It can be anything. It can be listening to someone without judgment is a value. A lot of us just listen and then we judge about people. So even if you are listening to somebody, if you're not even contributing any solution, then also listening becomes a very value added activity by providing a psychological safety to the person who is talking to you or sharing to you. So that is an influence. We say that this activity doesn't translate into me speaking a lot, okay? But this activity of listening, it is about emotionally getting connected, all right? So that is one aspect that you can talk whenever you go back, when your day is over. When you talk about influence, try and understand and ask this question: how did I add value to someone today? Emotionally, intellectually, or practically? If you practice this particular question for next 21 days, you will notice that the influence circle silently grows. That is the first answer to how influence is, and how influence would be a part of your daily activity. Not following the followers, but looking at the value that you're adding. So that is my answer to your question. What is the definition of influence? It is energy transfer through trust.
Awesome. Awesome. That's a great one, I must say. And I'll add by saying that we need to leave a great mark in people's lives.
True.
You see, a lot of us, we want to build relationship with people. We want people to be there for us when we need them the most. We want people to be called upon and they respond immediately. But one core thing is, how do you build relationship with these persons? What is the motive behind what you are doing? So these are questions we need to really sit down to ask ourselves. So for you to be influential, it does not necessarily relate to the title you are having. Now, if I'm talking about the title you are having, you see some persons are the president of this association, they are the CEO of this, they are that. The reason why people really respect them is because of the title, that particular name that you are giving. But one thing that we also need to look at is without that title, am I still valuable? Without that title, am I still recognized? So these are things that we look at. So you look at the situation, also understand that while you are in that place, don't forget that there is also a personal life. Don't forget that there is also a personal life attached to the professional life. So when you want to be so professional, don't also forget that these persons you are working with are also humans. So when you are able to understand them, just like you said, emotional connection, when you are able to understand them and you are able to feel like they feel, not like a robot per se, you are able to feel like they feel, you are able to understand what they want, and you are able to work with them to make sure that results are gotten not just from you alone, but results are also gotten from them. That can actually make a huge impact in their lives. Another thing is a person that is influential is always willing to empower others. Willing to empower others in the sense that you know that you can do it alone. That's fine. Yes, I can do it alone. I can do it very well. But how about I give others that opportunity to express themselves with the skills they have? So that's something that we can possibly do. So we give others room to express themselves. And when they ask, who did that? Who did this? Wow, they say he did. Yes, he's the best team lead. Is this, is that. You are leading even when you are not there. People remember that. Yes, this person empowered me. This person helped me. This person is great. So, what do people say about you when you are not there in that role? That's a question you ask. That's a question you ask. So let's try to build genuine relationship. Let there be emotional connection. And also don't forget that you are also a human being. And for you to be a human being, you definitely need to feel the way others are feeling. And that would help in a long way to achieve success. Okay, so we have Rosemary. I don't know if you are there now. Rosemary, are you there? Rosemary, are you there? Rosemary is still not there. Okay, so we move on to the next question. The next question we have here is how can one build trust? How can one build trust in a situation like this? You want to be influential, you want to, but it's not a situation where people don't trust us, or you as a leader you don't trust people. You feel, oh, this person will not deliver, this person will not do this. So how can one build trust as a leader and as a possible person that wants to build influence as a leader?
I think that is the call of the hour, Victor. And trust is a very valuable currency, and it is as brittle as glass. It takes years to formulate trust, but it takes moments or a single slip out to break that trust. But when it comes to trust, and if I want to give a bit of a definition or a formula for it, it can be trust is equal to authenticity plus follow through. So when I say this, trust is built when what you say, think, and do are in harmony. It is not about what kind of words that you use, but when you say something that I'm going to be there for you, and then you show up. That is how you build trust. It is the small activities that you do. So when look at trust, it is more about what you say, what you think, and you do, and you reflect it all in your action. That shows and establish trust. So authenticity is also important. Research shows when we trust people who are consistent and transparent, even more than those who are just competent. So if I see a lot of leaders, if I see a lot of business owners and startup owners and entrepreneurs, the trust, if it is there into the employees of those company, it is throughout how that particular leader has shown up with his promises, with his action, with the kind of transparency that he has in his policy, and how he is interacting with his team. It is not about how well qualified he is. That is a threshold one, but the trust is something that is related to how you say, think, and do harmonize with what is your personality is. So that is an important one. So when you want to develop a trust as a person who want to grow as an influence, because that is the biggest currency to establish influence, because as I told earlier, that influence is an energy transfer through trust. Okay, so how trust has to be there when you have to get into that particular mindset. Practical mind shift have to be done by try. Don't try to impress somebody. Okay, always, if your intention is to express, and in expression, even if you are not competent enough, if you are genuinely expressing it in your, not so affluent English, not in so affluent language, not so competent, but if you are concentrating more on expression than the impression, and when you stop trying to look perfect and start being real, people trust you faster. So being real is the part of trust, that is the authenticity and being there for the people. So that is how trust is built. So if I want to give you a practical tool, there is a three triangle approach that you can do after every interaction you have done with your colleague, maybe your boss, maybe your friend, maybe your family member. So I will just share my screen, I will show this triangle, so every participant and every listener can use this triangle, to accentuate or to practice this thing in their daily life. I hope my screen is visible. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, okay, great. So now if you see this particular triangle that is in front of you, that whenever you speak to anyone, make sure at the end of the day you would ask this question: was I authentic? Authenticity was there in my speaking. Did I speak my truth? Okay. Was I reliable? Did I listen to the person? Or did I promise what I promised? Did I, made it clear that this promise has been fulfilled? Was I empathetic? Was I able to listen to someone? In a lot of my counseling session, I have done a lot of counseling, and it is not about what solution you give. It is about how well you are able to empathetically listen to someone. And if you start listening to people with, you know entire your heart, and how it has to be done is like active listening. It is one of the skill that you can develop with time and practice, and with a mindset that I don't want to impress anybody, I just want to see what I can express. So that is one thing that you can inculcate. So trust triangle, what you can say is, these are the three questions that are in front of you. I hope everybody is able to see it. So that particular question has to be asked like, was I authenticated? Or I was authenticity was there in my speaking? Did I speak my truth? Was I reliable? Did I made my promise and I showed up whenever was needed? And lastly, was I empathetic? So these are the triangle of trust. So I hope, and every night you can score yourself from 1 being less and 10 being the highest. In a month, you would be able to come to know that how much of trustful behavior you're putting out into the society, or within your friend circle, or within your workplace, or within your colleges, or within wherever you want to, even in your workplace. So this is a triangle that you can go back and you can refer to. These are the questions that you can ask, same like previously, the question that I've given to you, to have some kind of pondering that you can do. All right. So I hope it is pretty much clear to everyone. Victor, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Okay.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
here. Okay, great. All right, so we'll continue. And I must say, you said a very great, very valuable point. And for a fact, we need to build trust. So one of the things I will still say concerning this is make yourself trustworthy. Make yourself trustworthy. You see, some of us, when we are given a very minute responsibility, we don't perform. We don't perform. So in the little way, in the little place you are, accept responsibility and do well with that little responsibility you are given. It is from that little responsibility that you are giving more. So the reward for little is more. The reward for little is more. So when you decide to always push yourself away, you feel it's not my concern, it's not this, it's not that. How do you build yourself if you don't accept responsibility? How do you build yourself when in this little responsibility you are not financially prudent when it comes to finance? You just hear finance and you are, you are so happy. How can I dupe them? How can I, enrich myself? How can I enrich my family? All these things are things that we also need to look into. So for you to build trust, one way is make yourself as authentic, like he said, make yourself as real as make yourself the best person. You may not be perfect, but you just have to work on yourself and make people understand who you truly are. Don't pretend to be who you are not, and be willing to improve daily. Be willing to grow. You are not just there. Don't just sit down there and be just a member. Don't be just a member. Try to see how you can, if there's something, there's a responsibility going on, try to volunteer. You can tell the leaders, I want to try this out with this particular committee. I want to do this, I want to do that. And they begin to see potential in you. So work on yourself and see how you can
Actually build
actually build
actually
something valuable.
build something valuable.
Okay, Rosemary, are you there?
Okay, Rosemary, are you there?
Yes, please, I'm here.
Okay, finally, welcome, welcome.
Okay, finally,
Okay, so
welcome,
we would love
welcome.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so we would love
to hear your points
we would love to hear your
about
points
what you think
about
about how to build trust.
what you think
Come again.
about what you think about how to build trust.
How to build trust. Okay. But please, can I be heard?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. Are you there?
Yes, we
Good afternoon, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here. Yes, please. So, my point on how to build trust. I'll say in order for you to build trust, you need to be honest and then reliable. You should be that someone can rely on you. How can someone will you? So one thing I'll say is that you should be transparent. What do I mean transparent? You should be who you are. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to be someone you are not. With that, you can't be reliable, you can't be trusted, you can't be can't I can't ask you if you are not who you are not reliable. I can't rely on you to say, oh, I'm dedicating my work to you to do, but then you don't portray yourself as who you are. You try to live a fake life. But that's I can't trust you. Then in order for one to build a trust, you should be transparent. You should be reliable. You should show up when you say. You should stick to your promises. Yes. So let's say you promise to do something for someone. You should by all means that promise. You don't promise someone and then you don't fulfill that promise. That one you can't be that. And also, let's take trust, building trust, in the form of a tree. Grow the tree, you water it day by day. A tree, it takes time for a tree to grow. Just a second. That trust can be lost. So sometimes you hear people's issues that have trust issues. Yes, it takes time to build trust. So let's say they trusted you, and then a little thing you did, a little thing, and the trust they have for you fell off. And it's kind of painful. I've experienced one before, but personally, I've experienced one before. So, and also integrity also comes in when you are building trust. And then empathy, you should be someone who has empathy for others. You don't say, oh, well, I don't care about, it's not my job, it's not my it's not it's not my job to do this, so I won't do this. No, you should try your possible best to do that. But there's someone who trust, someone say, no, this person did volunteer to do something and he can be reliable. So let's give this to him. And that's it opened doors for you. So to sum up, in order for you to build trust, you should be transparent, you should be reliable, you should be empathy, you should be someone has empathy for others. Yes, please. Thank you very much.
You are greatly welcome, Rosemary. You are
You're
greatly
greatly
welcome
welcome,
once
Mary.
more,
You're
Rosemary.
greatly welcome once more.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, Rosemary, if
Okay,
there is another screen there, you
if
could
there is another
possibly switch
screen
it
there,
off.
you could possibly switch it off.
Please come again. Please come again.
If you are with
If you are
another
with
phone there, you
another
could
phone
switch it
there, you
off.
could switch it off.
I'm actually not with another phone. I'm with another one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So can you hear me? Okay. So we move to the next question, which is how can one build a great reputation? How can one build a great reputation? So we'd love to hear from you, Abhijit Jakta, and also Rosemary Negle.
All right. All right. So I think reputation in this particular day and age, it's really important because how a reputation get tarnished by small activities on internet, like one post, one video, and one like and share of certain kind of reels can really tarnish your reputation. I see reputation as a repeated experience of integrity. So that is what a formula, if I want to give to the listener, that is a repeated experience of integrity by the person who is receiving your behavior. So when it comes to reputation, it is like an invisible resume or a CV that you're building, okay, for with the world, with your employer, with your maybe if you're working with if you're in college, if you are working with one of the employee. Now world has become so small through internet and LinkedIn. You might end up with your ex colleague, ex boss, no matter when in future of your employment, or maybe you're working with some other community. You might stumble upon the same people who are there in your colleges, who were there in your last company. So reputation becomes a very foundational part when it comes to influentials. So it is like, as I told you earlier, it is like an invisible resume. You build not by the what you say, but how other people experience you. Like every action written is like a written line in a resume. So your reputation has to be built in that way. So if I want to give a kind of an idea about what kind of practical mindset shift that the listener can do when he or she is building a reputation, think it as a long term action. Don't think it as a short term one, because a reputation is built not overnight. It takes years of perseverance, years of being trustworthy, that builds a reputation. It can be communicated through a post, a comment, a behavior that was shown to my future employer or audience 5 years from now. Okay, so if I ask myself, if I'm posting something, if I'm putting that online, I have to always ask before pushing that button of publish. I have to ask myself, will after 5 years from now, will I still be proud of what I'm going to send it on internet, on Instagram, on LinkedIn? Because it can, it actually has take away a lot of credibility from lot many talented people, because in their college years they have posted some questionable material on Facebook, and it was actually recorded. One of the mayor who was like contesting for mayorship in New York, his candidature was rejected because there was some questionable post that he has done way back in his college days when he was like almost 16, 17 years old. And that's how reputations are built. So now digitally also your footprints are there. So make sure that whenever you're posting any comment, your behavior is like an invisible resume that you're building. So anything that you post from right now, make sure that after 5 years, am I going to be proud about that or not? Or is it aligning with what my reputation is all about? Okay. So the tool that one can practice in order to make reputation as a very accountable activity is that you start establishing a reputation compass. Okay, a reputation compass that you can do. You can write down 4 words you want people to associate you with. It can be anything. It can be reliability, kindness, insightfulness, discipline. And then weekly review of your action, that if I associate myself with being kind, have I done anything that reflect kindness, okay, in that week?
Okay, in that week.
All right. So if you are able to associate your action with the words that you identify with and which you want to get identified into the society, then you are actually building a reputation. Otherwise, if you're saying lot many bigger words that I respect women, okay, I respect mothers and single moms, but in a WhatsApp group or on a Facebook you're sending a post which are a joke on women, that really has a contradictory effect on your reputation. So all your action, whatever you're saying, has to align with what other people want you to be recognized for. So if you want to be reliable, be reliable. If you want to be kind, but take note of it every week. Sit with yourself. Write down those words, write down those activities which reflects kindness, which reflect insightfulness, which reflect discipline. And then you will have a very good practice, as an habit of really reflecting back on my action and then expecting that yes, my reputation is good, people are talking good about me, and I am being consistent about what are the roles or whatever the image that I want to put into the society that is there. So that is what I feel like building trust, and which is an experience of integrity that can be
That can
established.
be established.
All right, so that's a very great one, and you spoke really well, I must say. So I will try my best to get a reputation compass, and I also advise everyone watching to get one. Try to get a reputation compass and keep
Right.
every necessary thing in check. So don't say words that you don't represent, and words and action, they are two different things. Let your words match your action, and don't say things to hurt people. Try to ask yourself the way he said it. Try to ask yourself a question. How will people take this particular issue? How will they feel if I say this particular word? Yes, as a leader, you may have that energy to just say all sorts of things, but there is always room for consultation. You can think twice before you mention anything or say anything in public. Think twice. Think twice. You first of all ask yourself, would this be good if someone says this to me? If someone says this to me, will I feel good about it? Then the next thing is, will it be good for the persons listening to it? How will they process the information? Today in my church, someone talked about something. A man came to give a talk, and he said something about job interviews in Nigeria now. That the job interviews in Nigeria now, people now look at social media handles. So you are going for a job, and someone asks you, "Where's your social media handle? Are you on Facebook? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on YouTube? Are you on this or TikTok or something?" And the person goes to your phone and searches. Oh, he sees a lot of indecent posts. He sees a lot of hate speech. He sees a lot of things that are not good about you. Will that person give you the job? No, he won't. So we also need to understand that it's not just all about you doing it now, you are feeling good, feeling great about yourself now, while you are doing things to also destroy your reputation at the back. Your reputation is your character. And there are three things. There are three things that can test someone's character. Three things. Three great things. Number one, position. Position can test your character. Money can test your character. Women can test your character. You see a man doing very well as a poor man. As a poor man, he doesn't have money. He's doing very well. He's living a very great life. He's associating with people around, jovial, playful, doing all sorts of things. Only a few persons that are poor, when you are tested, they are tested with wealth. They are given money. We do well. Only a few will be able to associate well. Only a few will be able to use that money well to also enrich others and also make impact. But most of the persons who are giving money, who have such opportunity to get so much money after being poor, they don't use it well. So that is one thing. One thing that can test your character is money. The second thing that can test your character is position. Just give a person, a member, a person at the floor, a position. I've been in such situation. I've seen it. I've seen it real happen in Nigeria. Person is given a position. What happens? He start trampling on everyone. Who are you? What do you know? Who do you know? I'm the one in charge. I'm the boss. You have to respect me. Telling them all sorts of words, threatening people with death because he has the position now, he has the power, he has the money, he has the influence. In his mind, he has the influence because he has the ability to control people to do things. But that is it. Position. That's another thing that can test your character. The next one is women, distractions. A man can be fine without a woman, but give him a woman, give him a woman. Then you begin to see the man behaving in a different way. That is another thing. So there are a lot of things that can test us. So how are we really behaving? How are we really building ourselves for all these things? Yes, we know money will come. Yes, we know position will come. Yes, we know we'll get married one day. But we need to build our minds for this stage that is definitely going to come. How do we accept these great things that are coming? And how do we use it to further build great relationships with people around us? And how can we become influential and helpful to the persons around us? These are things that we need to work on. So don't just change. Don't be moved by the money. Don't be moved by the power. Don't be moved by the women. How about you see how you can influence people positively with these three things that could possibly test your character in a bad way, but these things can be turned into a milestone to further shaping and realign you for the better. So this is something that we need to really look into. So Rosemary Neble, We also love to hear from you what you think about this. So you can speak now. You can speak now. Okay, it seems Rosemary left. So in order not to waste much time, we move on to our next question. And this question is another one, a very great one as well too. So we would love to hear from you what you think about character and consistency. Yes, this is a very big issue. Consistency is a very big issue for a lot of. If I talk about content creators,
Hmm.
talk about those that want to do something great. Talk about those that want to impact lives. You know, they start with the zeal to do it very well, but then when
Right.
they start, they lose focus. So we'd love to hear from you. What do you think about consistency and character?
I will take character first because I think that is the building block about your consistency. Because character is who you are when no one is watching you. You might say that, okay, I'm a person, as I told you earlier, that I would say that I respect women, but in my privacy with my friends, closer friends, or in a lot of WhatsApp groups, or even on Instagram or Snapchat groups, we tend to circulate poor worded, jokes, which is sexist in nature, which makes the other women as the target for fun, or maybe for tarnishing their reputation. So now, if like, and even secretly, if you are also having a negative view about women secretly, not saying to anyone, but when you have a kind of treatment that you give to another woman, or if you go anywhere, and if the woman is maybe say helpless, weaker, not in the society with certain kind of position and power, and if you have the power and reputation, as you lastly said, that yes, your reputation is also dictated by one of the thing is the title and the power. So lot of exploitation that happens in lot many organization is always from the top to down. It is not from down to top, because power gives you a kind of legitimacy. Power gives you that kind of, I would say, an influence, an undue influence. If you practice and you exploit someone who is powerless, that really talks about your character. So when once you start looking at your character, and I'm saying even in your mind, if nobody's watching you, and then also just for the sake of it, because if secretly, if you are a chauvinist, if you are secretly, if you are patriarchal, and you are saying that I'm feminist, that creates a duality of the character within. So be genuine. I won't say, I'm not morally policing anybody who's listening right now. I would say be true to the intention that you have. Don't be a hypocrite. That is a very tricky place to be. Either you be totally patriarchal or you can be totally feminist, but be convinced at your level first that why I want to be that. It has a positive side, it has a negative side as well. So if you are able to negotiate with yourself that, right, okay, this is what are my non-negotiables, I won't negotiate anything about this particular value, no matter, even if somebody praises me, somebody gives me applause, then also I will keep on doing it. That is the refinement of the character. But if you're doing it for the sake of praise, if you're doing it for the sake of likes and shares, then what would happen is, then you are creating a pseudo self in yourself, a dual personality. We in psychology we call it schizophrenic. Two men or two women living inside the same person, okay, of different devil and the saint, both of them are living in one body, but whichever you feed more will always win. That is what is there. So make sure your character is clear. So once the character is clear, the consistency is the output of the clarity of the character. So what is consistency? Consistency will see that if you are honest to your character, consistency will come up to you. Whoever remains, even nobody is clapping, that is what is there, right? If you are very clear about your character, the consistency will follow. They are like going in hand. All right. So whether they are the most, the credibility capitals, if I see it as an influence, and if I want to build a credibility, character and consistency are the capital or the money or the currency of being credible. People would come to you not because of the knowledge that you have, but what kind of character and consistency that you have, or the money that you have. The influence, true influence, is about character. If you take any leader across political scenarios or globally, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, you will always see these people had a very strong character. They were like not the richest, most affluent, or they don't own lot of land and money behind them, but they had a capital of character and consistency. So that is most important if you want to create a true influence. People usually trust, they what they do, the trust is built towards predictability over intensity. So what is predictability? If you have a character which is like constant, no matter if you are doing it alone, then also you are
Then also
behaving
you
as,
are behaving as
and if you are
and if
consistent
you are
throughout.
consistent throughout.
Okay, Victor,
Okay.
can you mute his mic? Yeah. All right. So in this particular scenario, that predictability is always over triumphed over intensity. So don't get if you are someone who want to develop a true influence, make sure that you are consistent and the character is fine. So people will love that. Okay, this particular person is predictable. And as far as the psychology is concerned, we love predictability when it comes to trust. We only trust those people who are predictable, not people who are non-predictable, right? So character is the base of being predictable. So what is the mindset that you can build up when you're developing character or consistency? Is like, choose to be predictable in your principle, not in your patterns. So when I say, make sure that your principles are the guidance. Principle, it can be anything. I'm reliable, I'm resourceful, I'm kind. That is a principle of your life. So be consistent into giving that particular to the people. Now, consistency doesn't mean that you have to be robotic. Okay. So I would say, like, be consistent, and you don't have to be robotic. I don't have to repeat it again. It means that being reliable in your value. Okay. Some of the time you have to be reliable. It doesn't mean that reliability is not about consistency. It is more about what I stick to in, in all ups and downs of my life. That is what, what I want to talk about, the consistency. And the tool that you can utilize is, one, you have utilized the compass, the moral compass that we talked about. The second one is value mirroring. So value mirroring habits that you can pick up, like pick three core values that you have: honesty, let's say growth, or compassion. And every Sunday, sit down in your journal and see, where did I live this value? Did I lived in, like, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, when I was asked to be honest, did I exhibit honesty? And did I had been honest about myself as well, that I felt a particular lust for a woman, and I accepted that I felt a lust, and I felt it, but I didn't act on it. Accepting that you have a lust is an honesty, and not doing it is a reputation or a character building. We as a human will feel all the feeling. We'll feel lust, we'll feel anger, we'll feel sadness, we'll feel shame, we'll feel resentment. Feeling is not bad. What you do about those feeling, okay, that is a punishable part. You are human, you want to feel all those feelings because you are human, and that is natural. So first of all, be honest about it. Your character is all about being honest. And the first thing is that you have to accept and be honest that I am human, and feeling all this emotion is a part of being human. But being a consistent or a reputed character is about what to choose to do in action. If I restrict myself by not doing it, So that is where I have to do. So I have to really go back and sit in my journal, and I have to say it. I have to write this. Where did I live this value? And where did I compromise it? Right? So not all the time you would be able to perform as per as the value. Sometimes you would have certain kind of compromise. And sometimes compromise are fine if the loss is more. Okay. What I'm saying is that I don't want to morally give you a kind of a burden that every time you have to be that. Sometimes you have to utilize the intelligence and the wisdom that you have as a person. All right. So sometimes you have to always see in that where did I live value and where I did compromise. So I will give two factors over that I might be living less of my value and I would be compromising more. So what I have to do next when I get the log of it, if I get the visibility that I'm living less of the value and compromising more, so what I have to do next is I have to reduce the compromise and increase the living of value. This is what the journal, when you see value mirroring, you would be doing at the end of every week on Sunday. That I have to ask two questions: where did I live in this value? And secondly, where did I compromise? So it would give you a very good mirror image about what I'm compromising and what I'm living. And that would build a character and that would build a consistency. I hope I have answered this question.
Definitely, definitely, you answered the question in a very great way. And I must say, I believe that the audience are being imparted by this great wealth of experience you have. And yes, I've also learned a lot, and I've taken note of a lot of points from your words of your great words. So one core thing I will still add to what you said. Um, okay, for example, the first thing is when you are not there, what do people say about you? What do people say about you when you are not there? That's a question you need to ask yourself. Do they say good things about you? And do they say bad things about you? That's the first question. So if people say good things about you, that doesn't mean you don't need to improve. Yes, it means that you are doing well. But you also need to understand that some people may say good things about you when you are there. So they pretend to love you, pretend to value you. But when you are not there, they say all sorts of things about you. So that is something that we need to look into. So we need to really sit down, not just listen to what people are saying about us. Sit down to analyze yourself. Sit down to know yourself. Sit down to look at the way things are going for you. Maybe in that association, that organization, you stand up, you want to speak. Everyone is saying, no, 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 no. Don't give him room to speak. That man is a bad person. Don't give him room to speak. That's a sign that you need to change. If you are in a room, you are free, you are able to share your opinion, and people love it, people value it. That means you are in a good room. But in a situation where people are always against you, never, 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 that's already a sign that something needs to change. So take your time to look into yourself. What do people say about me, and how am I really doing things? Yes, it could be you. You may be the problem. You may be the problem. And when you know that you are doing certain things, you are doing certain things wrongly, you try to change. So one way I've been able to work on this is I read a book. I have a private time for myself. Analyze my daily activities. I sit down. Okay, today, what did I achieve? How many persons did I meet? How did I respond to them? What did I say to them? How did they feel about my idea? Did they feel confident? Did they feel happy? Did they feel empowered with what I'm doing? And if they feel empowered about what I'm doing, definitely that's a plus. So meaning I'm already a step further, but I also need to work on certain things. But in a situation where everyone is always against you, you feel so bad. You now decide to seclude yourself from the people. You decide not to, feel good about that particular thing. That's already a very huge challenge. So take your time to analyze yourself. And another thing is, if someone someone sees you in public and when someone sees you in private, is it still you? Because it's possible that you claim to be good when you are with them, but when you are with another set of persons, you are different. So people are saying that this man is he does not womanize, he does not do this, he does not drink, he does not do that. They are boasting about someone who they don't even know. So at the next moment, they now discover that you are not even who you say you are. So be consistent in your character. Be consistent with who you are. Let people know you for who you are. If you know that this is who you truly are, then be that person. Don't pretend to be someone else. Trying to manage things, trying to manage things in presence of people. If this is who you are, stand for who you are, and you will live your best life. The best encouragement a person can ever give to you is to embrace your true self. Embrace your true self by doing things the way you are supposed to do it, the way you feel happy. You see, in situations, I'll give you some instances. A situation where you want to do something, you want to study something, or you want to impact people on this particular thing. You want to be the best in this thing or that. But what happened? Because of some factors, some family could be a factor, or friends, this and that. They begin to tell you, no, this is not how it's done. The way we do it, this is the best way to do it. Then you now hide yourself and you don't even express your gifts. You don't express yourself because the persons around there are not supporting you. So you have to be consistent. One of the best way to be consistent is to express your gifts, to do things you love, be happy doing things the way you used to do it, the way you love doing it, do it there and be confident doing it. And when people say he talks too much, it's possible that talking too much is your gift. It's a gift. Not everyone can speak like you. You know, the way you walk, you walk with so much pride. That's a gift. You smile too much. That's different. That's you. You are so passionate about this, so passionate about something that is not working. Leave me, let me be. So, when you've observed that this is what you love doing, be happy doing it. And when you've observed that the environment does not support you doing those things you love doing, you also know what to do, which is to change that environment. Always try your possible best to express your gifts and let people say that this is what he's good at, this is what he's experienced at, this is what he loves doing. Let people know you for what you are good at. And don't just try your possible best to volunteer. Try your possible best to volunteer in that particular area. And you see a lot of great things happening along the way. So we move to the last one, which we have here. Share some possible ways one can use to build influence. Share some possible ways one can use to build influence.
Surely, surely. I think the tool or the practicing of way to build influence is very important, because as we have talked about what makes influence, what is the elements of influence, Now there would be how to build it. Like now we have to coming back, like what are the steps, what are the things that a person can do it readily, so that the influence would be created in action. Okay, inside we know we have to have a reputation, character, we have to express, then to impress. All those things are important. Mindset is important, self reflection is important. But when it comes to putting it into the world, what are the three things that you can do? I call it as 3 E's. Okay, 3 E's of building influence. So what influence is? Influence is like compound like interest, small consistent deposit of value, grow over time. And the fastest way to build influence, there are 3 E's that you can do. One, the first E is educate. So I think, Vector, you are doing it right now. To create an influence, educate people. Educate anything that you want to share about, one lesson that you have learned. It can be in your curriculum, it can be in your life, it can be a new management theory that you have worked on. Anything that you can make your audience learn about a particular skill set, that creates influence. Okay, so if you are on social media, try and post a reel which talks about anything that is educational. Try and post an article which educate your audience or your friends or your family about anything that you want to do, how to use a mobile phone, how to make reels, how to put up a, how to put a campaign on online, how to start a business. So all those things would start with the first E, educate. Second thing that you can do to build influence is elevate. So help other people, help other to feel capable. So you can appreciate one person in your circle publicly to elevate his or hers power or his or her ability to talk about. I think I have lost Victor in between. I will wait for a while till he joins in, and then I can continue with what was my point regarding the three. All right, Victor, we lost you in between. Okay. So I think the second E about building is elevate. So help other to feel capable. So I was talking about that, make your colleagues your friend as a part of elevating. That would create an influence, because if you appreciate someone for his work or for his strength, he would feel recognized and seen, and that would create a trust, and trust is equal to influence. So that is how we can start with. The first is education, second is elevate, and third is engage. So it is about connection, responding, having a meaningful conversation. So right now, Victor and me and the audience, Rosemary was there for a brief time. We are actually engaging, we are responding, we are connecting, we are acknowledging the issue of how to influence. We are doing 3 E's all together. We are educating, we are evaluating, elevating, and we are also engaging. So this creates an influence. How to build influence. So if I want to talk about what how this tool can be utilized for next 7 days, first start with sharing one lesson with your audience. Your audience is not on social media, or your audience is everywhere. Wherever you connect with people, that is your audience. You connect a person in a shopping mall, you connect a person on a bus stop, you connect a person while you're traveling. He or she is your audience. So if you are having a quality conversation, like educating them, that creates influence, because if you are educating someone, you are giving a value. All right. And money is not always the value, knowledge is also a value. So whatever knowledge that you have, even knowledge through mistakes. If I made some mistake in my life, if I goofed off someone, if I've done something wrong, and if I've learned something, that can be also a kind of a value that you can give. So one thing that you can do from right now for next 7 days, share one lesson that you have learned. It might be your personal lesson, it can be anything that you have learning as a subject matter expert, or anything that you are interested about. Then second that you have to do is elevate. Appreciate one person publicly. Give a shout out to any of your community member. Like Vector is doing a fantastic job. Give him an appreciation publicly, not in person, but publicly. What it creates is that the person who appreciate and elevate others, they see him as a credible leader. And you will always see this trait in lot much of leadership, that they appreciate people publicly. That enhance the relationship. So the second thing that you have to do is, after educate, second is elevate. Appreciate one person publicly. And the last E, that is engage, have one meaningful conversation with anybody you feel like, I want to contribute to this particular person. You can ask that person, let's contribute on this particular fact. Like, now it is so easier to call people on podcasts, to have a private channels, to have a conversation on WhatsApp. It doesn't mean that it has to be published. You can have a conversation which is more engaging. And when it is more engaging, talk about the dreams, talk about the ideas. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about, something that is negative. Talk something that elevates a feeling of positivity and hope in other people. Okay, don't go and just drum around the negative aspect of life, because we have a lot of negativity already. Okay, so when you talk about elevation, talk about the faith that you have, talk about the hard time that when you have conquered. You might be ill, your family member might be have ill, or you have come up from a very challenging background, but now you're doing well. That can be a good story to get engaged with your audience. Or audience, when I say, don't take audience as your followers. Your audience is anybody whom you connect and speak with, your family members, people outside the bus stop, people in the commute, people everywhere where you're connecting. Okay, so that is the three E's. One is educate, second is elevate, and third is engage. So this is how you can build the influence.
Once more, thank you so much, Abhijit Jaktap. I must say the three E's are great. The three E's are wonderful. So today I will still try to give a shout out to someone. I will make a shout out to some persons publicly. Yeah, I will try and do that. And these things are things we can put into practice in the little ways we can. So to all the persons watching, to all the persons sharing some comments, I can see some comments here. Saratin Odiagbome said this is very educative. Mr. Ibrahim Taibu said, well done, Victor. These are some great comments. And also to everyone out there, we encourage you to give a shout out to someone out there. Appreciate the person for the great work he's doing. And surely you see a lot of impact coming out of that particular situation. And also don't be scared. Don't feel bad appreciating someone. That's one thing some persons don't like to do. They just want their names to be mentioned. They just want all the accolades to go to themselves. Unknown to them, the work wasn't just for one person. It was not one person that did it. It was a teamwork. So a teamwork should be, should a team members who did it, who joined you, should also be appreciated for such great work. So let's work on that, and then we see the great work coming out of there. So move to the last question, which says, what do you have to say about giving value for free for the first time? So you see some persons, um, yes, they have a lot of valuable content. I must say they have valuable things to offer to persons. Now,
True,
first
true.
things first, they don't have the clients. The first one is they don't have the clients, they don't
Right.
have the community, they don't have the client,
Hmm.
they don't have the community, and they feel it's not ideal to give valuable things for free at first. They feel they should just sell it immediately. So, what
Hmm.
do you think about such a situation? And is it really ideal? Is it good? Have you done it before? Yeah, that's even the right word to use. Have you done it before? And how was it? How was the impact when you gave out something valuable for free for the first time?
Right. Okay. So that is a very important question when it comes to building an influence, because every influence start with a psychological effect of reciprocity. So reciprocity is a psychological effect. When you give something for free of value, I'm saying free of value. Not just free advice, not a free judgment, but something that is free of value to the person by understanding what is valuable to him or her. And you create that value. Now you have to do certain kind of a free things first. All right. Because it creates a effect in other person's mind that I have to return that favor sometime, not today, not tomorrow, not after a month, maybe after 3 months or 4 months, because we as a human being register and memorize anything, any person who has done a favor on us. That is the psychological effect of reciprocity. It is very well proven and research that reciprocity is something that our mind registers, same as grief, rage, and even revenge. It's the same way, anybody who has done good to you, you would remember. You just have to go back and remember about it. And you feel a certain kind of compulsion to return that favor, okay, as a person who is of a good correct character. All right. So that is where it would build. So doing certain thing free at the first time, I would say it is how you seed trust and proof. Okay. So anything that you do free, look at it as a seed. Okay. So whenever you put a seed, you don't go on putting seeds for your entire life. All right. What is the main thing is, like, you don't have to do free things endlessly. You have to do it, what I can say, let's say after every 6 months. After every 6 months, do certain things free. For 2 months, I'm doing free things. It is like a seed. I put a seed that is called as strategic giving. Okay, give strategically. Place seed every 2 months and reap the fruit after 90 days. So it can be anything. Now, just like Vector, if I want to give our example, it has been more than 6 months that we are in contact of having this particular session. All right. You have constantly messaged me. You have constantly said certain things. There was certain obligation at my end, personal obligations, because I recently gone through. I've become a father of a 8 month old daughter. So I was pretty much busy in that. I was not able to give you time. So a lot of many things were taken back seat. But I think the consistency of your sending a message, and it was a positive message. Hey man, great. Hey, wonderful personality. I still can remember the message, the context that you have given. Great work, what we're gonna do. And it it sets a kind of a thing like, this guy is so good with me, I have to return that favor. All right. So that is a very powerful way of doing something free with kindness, not with obligation. If you do it with kindness, people register kindness, but it has to be done strategically, not endlessly. Plant the seed, get those people involved. It is like you see it as an investment, not as your lost. You are planting a goodwill that compounds into an opportunity. And I have this feeling in past, whatever, I think most of the client, most of the corporate relationship that has been enhanced is not because of I am the best trainer in the world. It is I am being the best person of best behavior whenever people have contacted me, no matter how they have behaved with me. They might have not returned my call for 3 months, they have not talked to me for 6 months. I have one client who have been in contact from last 7 years, and last year itself I got one client, one engagement, an order from them. So it is not about that. You have to be like a planter, you have to spread seeds, but make sure that when you are spreading seed, it has a timeline. I have a certain point in year that I have a free engagement. Right now I am doing an engagement that is free in the month of November. It is called as Mental Health Day for Men. So I do a Saturday Sunday free coaching call, at least for 8, means I have 10 slots, so I do it for free. No matter nobody turns out, I'm just making that I am available. If somebody needs help, I am there. These activities, but I do it on a specific day and a month of my entire part. The rest of the time I will straight away say no. The rest of the time I will say that this is the money that is involved, I will ask for that, and I will ask for that particular part. So When I look at this particular thing, I do a 30, 60, 90 practice of giving. Okay, that is a rule: 30, 60, 90. So what I do, first 30-day for a new client, for a new prospect whom I have never contacted, I give them value freely. First 30 days. The next 60 days, what I will do is I will start building relationship. I will have certain kind of conversation with them, that this is my program, this is what I do, this is something that we want to do, or I want to invite you for a podcast, I want you to be on my as a guest speaker on my show. And this is how I develop a relationship. I just keep on sending them whichever training engagement that I have done or any article that I have written. I will send that particular message to that particular person to build a relationship in next 60 days. And after 90 days of doing that, I will ask her, can we monetize and collaborate? So there is a 30, 60, 90, a strategic way of giving free and developing a kind of a economy of giving value for free. Because the value, if you keep on giving endlessly, you would get exhausted as a person who is giving, right? You have to strategically give 30, 60, 90. First 30 days, give it free. 60 days, build a relationship. And 90 days after that, monetize or collaborate. So that is my answer.
That's a very great one. I must say, very great one. And I must say, I've also taken note of these points because one thing about learning is we learn and we put it into practice. When we put these things we've learned into practice, that is even the best form of learning. So
True.
I also encourage everyone watching, everyone that followed this session. I hope, I hope you took down one or two points. As for me, I took down the 30, 60, 90. A very good point, a very good strategy that one can put into what is doing and will start getting massive results. And here we see things working fine. But if you are the type that wants to rush, at some point I rush. Yeah, at some point I rush. I'm human. So at some point when we are learning to do things, we do when we rush, you begin to imagine, oh, the results I get when I rush and the results I get when I build relationship, they are different. The results I get when I do things for free at first and then turn it into money and monetize it, and the results I get when I just monetize it at first are different. So the anticipation people get when they pay for something at first and the anticipation people get when they build relationship with you are different. So we need to really look into ourselves and see how we can build great relationship and build influence. And one core thing I always tell people, don't focus on the now, focus on after now. Don't focus on now. Things, this is what we just did. It's free. It's this, it's that. Focus on after now. Will this person come again or will the person not come again? So these are things that we need to look into. So how will the person feel after working with you? How can I push this person? What strategy can I use to bring this person back into working? And this person now becomes a giver. It gives value just the way you gave that person value. The person begins to become he becomes an ambassador to that organization. The person now spreads the word and makes impact through you. All these are things that we need to really look into, and we see a lot of great results coming along the way. Once more, I must appreciate you, Abhijit Jagtap, for making out time to be in this program today. And I must say it was a very great interaction. I learned a lot, and I also believe that the audience learned a lot as well. So I can see some great persons here. Amza Musa. I can see Osaretin Idiagbome. I can see Ibrahim Taibu. once more, thank you so much for being in today's program. Also, I know that a lot of persons watched. So after today's program, we'll also give a special shout out to all of you. Just like Abiji said, we'll give special shout out to citizens right now. So shout out to Oliver Wena Netiga. Shout out to Jean Christian Ridoni. Shout out to Efan Sotode Nia. Shout out to Precious Emmanuel. Shout out to Roberto Cavagnola. Shout out to all the wonderful persons who have been supporting us to ensure that we keep our youth development show going, and to everyone who is currently working with us to ensure that we build a very great project together. You all are the best. So shout out to every necessary person, everyone that is watching this program. Your presence, your support has made us to push further. So we appreciate you. And also take note that next year's youth development show is going to be different. It's going to be unique. So we are going to be ending at the 40th episode, and hopefully by next year we are going to re-strategize and bring out something even better and brighter for all of you. Once more, thank you so much, Abiji Jacked Up. But before we end today's program, we usually ask our speakers to share a word of advice for 1 minute to the audience who watched today's program. So we'd love to hear you give an advice to the young persons, every young person out there. Let's hear from you what you think they could work on to do well.
All right. I think there has been a lot of small advice that I have given, but one thing that I found to sum up the entire session of influence, or even life as such, or whatever knowledge that we acquire, because as we are exposed to so much of knowledge, not knowledge but information. Knowledge is something that you apply and then you know about it, but a lot of us stay at only information. We watch a lot of YouTube videos, podcast. We listen to a lot of podcast. Reading has just gone out of the window. Lot many people just stick to podcast or watching videos or reels, and I think the retention is really low. Why it is happening is that there is one quote that I want to end this particular session is, and that can be one of the advice for all of the listeners, that it is always said that enlightenment or the wisdom is not achieved by insight. So whenever you read a lot or you listen a lot, it doesn't mean that you have already got the wisdom. Wisdom is only created by practicing it. The more you practice, the more wiser you get. Not by listening and reading more, by practicing more. And start scrappy. Make as much of mistake as you can. Don't overburden yourself by becoming perfectionist. Everybody in this world has started scrappy, and a baby, when he walks, he falls down multiple times. He doesn't walk at the first time. And everybody, even you take Usain Bolt, that is my favorite athlete, okay, who actually runs, he's like, he holds the world record, but Usain Bolt also started by falling down first. All right. And now he has become the master of his game, but it was through 10,000 to 20,000 hours of rigorous practice. That's why he was able to break the record or make mastery in his field. So don't get shy about failures. Don't get shy about the scrappy or imperfect way of expression. Don't get scared about it. It is a part of a process. So be very compassionate with your own self. Be very humble with yourself. If you're making a mistake, if you didn't have a good start, that's fine. But now, from onwards, if you keep on practicing, sharpening your axe every day, you can chop down the biggest tree in the forest. So practice is the only virtue. So thank you so much, Victor. Thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you so much, Abhijit Jaktap. And also thank you so much, Rosemary Negle. Although she wasn't able to complete the session with us, but I still appreciate her for her great work and for sharing insightful ideas with us. Uh, do have a wonderful evening and Stay blessed. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with us today. Don't forget to recommend this YouTube channel and LinkedIn account to your friends. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Next week, same time. Our next week is going to be by 5 p.m. West African time. So next week by 5 p.m. West African time, you'll join us because we're going to be interacting on something also very interesting. So do well to be with us and join us by 5 p.m. West African time next week, Sunday. Once more, thank you so much, Abiji Jackta. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.